everyone, welcome to Hedgehog Hollow on LDRS Inspiration Week. I hope you enjoyed our new release close-up earlier in the week, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to use the Build-A-Card dies. So these are a really neat invention from LDRS. So inside of here you have a number of dies. In this one there's 11 pieces, and I'm going to show you first of all how to cut your card base. So the idea of the Build-A-Card is that they have an area that does not cut that you can then create shaped card bases with. So this is a piece of brown 12 by 12 cardstock that I cut in half widthways, and I'm going to put my die on here because it looks like the camera is having issue just focusing on that brown cardstock, so you can see here. And this was a 6-inch wide piece, 12 inches long, that I've cut down ready to use my Build-A-Card on. And so I'm going to pop my piece down here. I already have my die plate, and I'm going to be using my Gemini Junior. It's my favourite die cutting machine to use. And I'm going to grab a piece of masking tape that I had ready to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape this in place. So if you look at the reverse of the die, this area here doesn't actually cut. So you want to line this up with the edge of your card, and I'm going to stick this down where I want it to cut. And what it's going to do is it's going to cut us a shaped card base. I'm going to move it down just a smidge so that we make sure we have that top and bottom. And so by not cutting on that fold, we're going to end up with a pumpkin shaped card, which I think is going to be really good fun. So I'm going to just run this through my Gemini. And so what you can see is I have a really neat pumpkin shaped card. So I have my Build-A-Card that is pumpkin shaped, and you can actually move this a little bit closer if you want to. So what you want to make sure, I tend to just add this on because I find that a thicker piece just gives me a better and stronger fold. And so I make sure these two little teeth line up with that fold on the edge of my cardstock. But you can actually move it out a little bit more if you wanted to, because it doesn't have any cut area in here. So you can line it up however you want your card to be. It also depends how you're going to be decorating your card as well. So we are also going to cut out our decorative pieces here. And I'm going to lift this one off of the thing, and I'm going to be using some of the Happy Full paper. So this is the Becky Pierce paper pack that I showed you. Lots and lots of pretty designs, and the LDRS paper packs have a really fun kind of feel to them, but they're also thicker. They're almost like a thin cardstock. So I'm going to center this up how I want my pieces to look. So I'm going to make sure that I have a few of the different critters on there. So you can line it up however you would like to. And I'm going to pop this again through my Gemini machine. And so here I have my pretty pumpkin piece, which also has a little bit of a beveled edge to it. You'll also notice that my card base has that same pretty beveled edge. It just adds a nice finishing touch. And of course this piece is now going to fit over our card base perfectly. So I'm just going to add some tape runner. What the hell? It's going to throw one. So I'm going to add on some tape runner here. This is the scrapbook.com one. This is a great adhesive, as is the Tonic Funky Tape Runner. And so I'm going to add that on to my card base here. And so it gives me a really nice border for adding that on. And on that top piece, I'm still going to add some tape. And so if I'm adding tape to a tricky area, the glass mat is perfect for that, because I can use my tape runner as normal and then pull it away. And the tape only adheres to the paper. Anything left over is on here, and it's just super easy. I just rub it off like that. And I know what I'm going to do is add a really simple sentiment to this. So I'm going to use some white cardstock and my MISTI. And I'm going to use the Happy Full sentiments. So they're really pretty sentiments that will just kind of stand alone really nicely. And this is just a piece of white stamping cardstock. And I'm going to tie this together with the new ink cube. So these are the same wonderful LDRS hybrid inks that are now in cube format. So if you are challenged by space constraints, these are perfect. And I store mine in one of the Deflecto washi tape storage units because they just work absolutely perfectly for your ink cubes. So you can see there, easy peasy to stamp out. And because this is a hybrid ink, if I wanted to add any colour to it, I don't need to because it's a detailed stamp. I can do that without having to worry about it because I can use watercolour or I can use alcohol-based markers. I'm not going to have any problems. And now when I go to trim this, I line up one part of the image using the guide that's actually in my trimmer. So I know that that guide is straight, and so I cut side one, and then I use that straight edge against the guide and I cut side two, and so I just keep working round, and that squares up my piece of paper to my sentiment. It's a really easy way to do that. So I'm going to add that on the final side there. And I'm going to mat it on some pretty cardstock. So I'm going to mat it on some of the Wicked Winnie cardstock. And I think I'm going to use some orange. Let's kind of use up some of that pretty orange. So again, because this piece is not measured in any way, I line up my sentiment in that corner there. And then it's really easy for me to start cutting because I know that two of my sides were already matted pretty perfectly. And so I can just trim this down to even it up all the way around. So you can see there how simple that was to mat up. And we're just going to add this onto our little piece here, and I'm going to use some foam pads. These are the Tonic Craft Perfect ones. I happen to just have these to hand. They're really nice as well because they come in a big cube size. So you can cut these down with your non-stick scissors, or if you have a larger sentiment, you can just pop one right on there. I tend to use two because I like a little bit more height. Depends if you're putting them through the mail or not. You can choose what height you would like your piece to be, and I'm going to pop it on a little pretty angle. But that is how easy our Build-A-Card dies are. You've got lots of trimming pieces if you want to use those on your card. It will stand up for you as well. It's got a nice base on there. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick tutorial. It's just a 10-minute quickie card that you can also make at home using those new supplies from the LDRS release. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and maybe you learnt something too. Don't forget to also hit that subscribe button and stamp the bell so that you get notifications of our future videos. And we'll see you again very soon. Happy stamping. Bye.
Being always